after this, the next three movies that are there are all directed by the same director. So there is
Yeah.
consistency, and David
Which
Yates
is actually good because you know
does a
some
good job.
amount of coherence because like I'm sure that the amount of people that watched 5, 6, 7 was like a
Yeah.
huge number, and you know those people like really waited with bated breath.
Dude, I
Uh,
remember like going to the theaters just excited as hell and just wait. Like I used to remember like going there and waiting in the line and just like hoping that we get tickets because we couldn't reserve them through Book My Show at the time, right? Like we didn't have Book My
yeah,
Show and we didn't have like any apps that would help us reserve seats, and we had to kind of wait, like go to the theater and see if we luck out and get the tickets. And for people who wanted to specifically see in theaters like IMAX, or rather IMAX theaters, which is one of the theaters in Mumbai, the Dome we call it. If like just to go there and be in line and be able to watch that movie on that screen, you really needed to reach there like an hour early just to like be able to have a chance, like minimum an hour early to have a chance to get the ticket. I don't know if you did this for these movies though.
no man. I mean, fortunately, I had somebody who had tickets, so I didn't really have to wait. But like my
Lucky.
you know, but my payback was that both the seventh, both the Deathly Hallows, I actually didn't get a chance to watch it in the theater for some
Really,
reason.
I
And
think those were some of my favorite memories watching those movies in the
yeah, no,
theater.
I think both the Deathly Hallows for me were on DVD, and I
Mm.
really wish I would have watched it in the theater because both the Deathly Hallows were like the treatment of light is very dark, right? So it's very
Correct. Yeah.
difficult to figure out on a small screen what's happening because the
Yeah.
the dark elements are much higher in terms of color. But
Yeah.
yeah, that was my redemption. But are we talking about Umbridge or are we talking about Umbridge? Because
Oh my God,
that
I think
bitch,
she's the.
you know, with that
I hate
laugh,
her more than Voldemort to an extent. I sometimes feel.
like that just weird little
Yeah.
that she does. You like you wanna just punch her
Yeah.
fucking
But
teeth off. Like she does such a good job at making you
I must
hate
not tell
her.
lies. I must not tell lies. And this
Fuck.
is us telling the truth. We hate Umbridge. Oh
Dude,
my
she does such a good job at
God. Oh,
making you
I swear.
hate her. And then she's
Also,
like worshipping
yeah,
Cornelius like, you know, he's some sort
I
of
swear.
Bhagwan, and like
Cornelius Fudge,
she
that
keeps
corrupt minister as
putting
well.
up all those
Yeah.
decrees.
Oh, but you know what? Like, I think, and this is genuinely what like I don't know. This might be a controversial statement for this, but to me, this movie was better than the book. Like specifically, just this fifth movie. Um, and the only reason say this, and I'm sorry to anyone who finds this offensive, but the only reason I say this is because they did such a good, because the book itself is the longest. The fifth book, Order of the Phoenix, is the longest book, and it has a lot of drawn out scenes in the book, right? But in the movie, like they focus on the right things.
Mhm.
Sorry, I thought there was someone speaking from your side, so like I could hear something.
And we had the spirits of Umbridge arising. We were like, I heard you talking about me, motherfuckers.
Sorry, sir. But yeah, like in the movie, like they did such a good job of like condensing it into 2 hour, 2.5 hour movie, and just not only that, like the whole story, the focus is not on the world of Harry Potter, but the relationships and the bonds and the people and like who they are throughout the movie, because I can really, really, really see Harry's isolation and the trauma that he's going through and the trouble that he's having, like just connecting with people because nobody believes him about Voldemort. He's you In so many scenes you see him looking into the world of into this wizarding world as an outsider, because especially like one of the examples, and first of all you go to Grimmauld Place for the first time in this movie, and that's freaking amazing to see Sirius's home, and all the black home basically, and like getting to know about the Lestranges and the blacks and Narcissa being a black, and the whole idea of um, like this character, like there's a war coming and now you need to start preparing, and Sirius is telling Harry that this is something that is going to happen soon, and just like those small interactions, and you see like Harry not feeling completely at place um, with like Voldemort coming back, and you see like him seeing those visions and starting like Voldemort having an effect on his mind. So all the time, like he's having really dark visions, or you can hear Voldemort in his head, and he's all like he's getting affected. He's seeing Voldemort everywhere. He's seeing his own reflection changes to Voldemort's face at times, and it's just so well done. It's like a beautiful, beautiful movie. More than like about the world of Harry Potter, it is about the characters. It is about their development. It's about Neville becoming stronger. Neville stood up to freaking Bellatrix in this one. Like he literally, like in the book, he doesn't do this. He whimpers on the floor. But in this movie, they chose to show Neville like developing into saying, Bellatrix asks him like, how are your parents, and she like dead are they, and or like something along those lines, and basically Neville says that, oh, you're gonna find out really soon because I'm gonna avenge them, and like just like that small line from Neville shows so much development for him. There's development for Ginny in this movie. There's the whole idea of like how Hermione and Ron really want to help Harry, but he's kind of pushing them away. But then later on, like he realizes when he's being affected by Voldemort in the Ministry that he like is Ron and Hermione and all his friends are there for him, and they are the reason that he's strong, and that's what makes him different from Voldemort. And even Dumbledore telling him like you should focus on what makes you different rather than what makes you the same or what makes you alike is so well done.
What really gets my gears going in this book is, I think for the first time in his life, Harry is extremely hopeful that he is going to have family that he can stay with. Sure, like in the in Chamber, he has the Burrows, and you show how
Yeah,
he becomes close to the Weasleys.
yeah,
But I think with Sirius, he has this real connection, right? Because of
yeah,
course, Sirius and his father were like the best of friends, and
yeah.
the fact that he and Sirius talk about Harry coming and living with him is
Mm-hmm.
such a big optimistic curve. Like
Yeah,
you see the joy in. I think for me, the entire book, the biggest standout was the relation between Sirius and Harry. I mean,
yeah,
in Goblet, they don't get a lot of chance because Sirius is still on the run. But of
yeah,
course, in Order, you see Dumbledore using Sirius's old house as like a meeting place for the
yeah,
Order,
yeah,
and Harry gets really the kind of time he wants to spend with Sirius. So I think for me that's really a standout. I mean, of course there are a billion elements in the book and the movie, but just the fact that Harry has a real actual shot of moving out from the Dursleys' house and moving into with Sirius is I mean, the author did such a great job of raising our expectations
yeah,
of Harry actually being able to live with Sirius. And because Harry, of course, they don't spell it out, but Harry imagines a life of hunting Voldemort down. And of course, he knows that Sirius will be his partner in crime.
yeah.
I mean, he doesn't see Ron and Hermione fighting along his side as much as he sees. Like, this is just my interpretation. But
And this is later on that he develops that, oh wait, they are on my side and they are fighting
yeah,
with me,
yeah,
because
correct.
that is after like Voldemort gets into his mind, right? Like
Yeah,
especially after the fight between Voldemort and Dumbledore, which was
correct,
freaking amazing.
correct.
Just putting it out there, though that was I think one of the best scenes ever. But just like the fact that the thing in the movie as compared to the book is he realizes in the movie they show him like looking at his friends when
Yeah,
he's being affected by Voldemort, and then his friends enter the room where he's like on the floor and writhing in like pain, and like he's trying to make some like get out of this control that Voldemort has, and then he sees his friend and realizes, no, I'm not alone, because that was the time he and this is the I think I genuinely cried when Sirius died in this movie, which
that was.
is
I mean, I think that
uh,
that probably the entire
yeah,
seven book saga, seven movie saga. I think that has got to be the, for me at least, has got to be the
yeah,
saddest scene. Like the scene which
yeah.
really breaks your heart because
Especially,
you know
like when you hear him say, "Oh, great work, James," or like "Way to go, James!" Like just before when they were fighting together against the Death Eaters.
it's insane, man.
Yeah,
Like, I mean, they do a great job at making you hate
yeah.
Bellatrix even more if you
Oh
didn't hate
yeah,
her already. You're like first the long bottoms and then now black, and
yeah.
then you just like you see Harry run after her in this blind rage, and for the first time he does the
Helena Bonham Carter does an amazing job as Bellatrix. Just saying. Oh my god.
yeah.
Um.
She's you're
Well,
talking about Bellatrix, right?
yeah, Bellatrix. Yeah.
Okay. I was like, ये कौन है? ये कभी आया? And I'm like, okay, you're
She
talking
was the
about
one. She was the one who portrayed Bellatrix in the
yeah,
movie.
no, but it gets so difficult, right? When you're in the flow, you're like, wait, Bellatrix? Helena? Wait, who? Am I missing something
I'm
here?
sorry. I'm sorry. I broke your flow.
No,
Pardon my.
that's what I meant. I
Uh,
suddenly felt like, wait, because so like I mean, both of us sheeples are different in that way, right? I mean, you're extremely invested in the back end and who they are as the real lives, but me on the other hand, I'm totally like just hostage to the fact that these guys are the characters and
yeah.
they've in my head it's like they've formed this character ring that doesn't ever break. So for
Right.
me, like I know, I mean, of course it's not the healthiest way to go forward, but all of us have a way. So for me, like Daniel is Harry. Like I don't he's not Daniel, he is Harry. So it gets a little difficult, but like
Uh,
he runs after her.
so,
He
so
uses
the only reason I like think the other way, and just putting it out there for the time being, is like a lot of the times these actors in the interviews also talk like you can see them like wanting to be more than what they've been associated with, and as much as they love those roles, they are their own person, right? And like the more you force that idea that they are just that, you're kind of like they feel limited, right? So that's why I try to put the actors names out there, because they've put their heart and soul into the movie, and they've made you love that character enough to not see them any other way, right? So like that deserves its own respect to it, and but that's my thought process. That's just me, like say, as you said, like both of our thought processes in this matter is very different, right?
true. Yeah.
But yeah, as we were saying, Sirius dying, like you were saying, like that broke your heart, like genuinely to like that was the saddest thing for you, right, in the whole
Yeah,
series.
I don't know, man. Like, it's just after that, if you have any shred of optimism left in the Harry Potter universe, it's just gonna get darker from there. And
Oh
I
man.
I think like it sort of crusades with becoming an adult that
Yeah,
a lot of happy, naive memories are now left behind, and it's just
yeah.
war from now on. Because like even in Half-Blood Prince, Hogwarts isn't really Hogwarts. Like
Hmm.
you might think that they're coming to school and life is going to be normal, but right from the beginning, it's not.
Yeah.
And I think any shred of sanity in Hogwarts was left at order. Like the fifth book and the fifth movie is where things were as it could have been in a school when there
I
was
think, yeah. I think around maybe you can kind of still say like the sixth book has a lot is it's
the sixth
very
book is
different
when they
from.
take their
Yeah,
OWLS, right? They take
yeah,
their
yeah, yeah,
owls.
yeah.
Yeah. Oh my god, I
Like,
remember that scene. They're in astronomy and fucking Hagrid's being attacked, and they're like, what?
no,
Like,
no,
what is really happening?
it was an amazing book. But like before we get to that, I'd say like the fifth one, just to end it off. For the fifth one, like after losing Sirius, you would think like for Harry everything is lost, right? Like
Yeah.
especially because throughout the book and throughout the movie, you can like his thoughts. In the book, you're vividly reading his thoughts. You know what he's going through. You know that he is feeling alone. He doesn't have anybody else. It's the only person he looked at that time was Sirius, and he didn't know if he wanted to bring his friends into this dangerous situation, because he was like, no, I can't like put them in this hurtful situation. They might not be able to defend themselves, or they might not be able to handle this what I have to handle, and this is a burden that I have. But in that like last moment of looking at his friends being there for him and fighting this, like being a part of this war with him, and being like his backup and his support and his close family, he realizes that he wasn't alone all along, and that's where he gains the power to kind of remove Voldemort from his head, and like take away his power that Voldemort had throughout the fifth book and the movie, and kind of gain that like semblance of control of his own like will again, knowing that no, I'm not alone in this fight. I am stronger with the people around me, and Voldemort is the one who's weaker because there's no one around him, and he doesn't let anybody.
Yeah,
And
man, that's actually pretty accurate.
I think that was really well done.